it was one of those deals where, I can only ride one. I have no choice but to make a choice. And first thing he'd signed just had the credentials behind him, and I really felt like he was the horse to beat. But in the back of my mind, I knew that if Jess Good Candy stepped up and improved off of that trial race, that he'd be tough to beat too.
Talk to me about what Carl Peteyhouse's thoughts would have been for that horse to be in the top 10.
Well, for one thing, we would probably have to lasso down Daddy out of the clouds, because he would have been so excited that that horse made it to the All-American. He worked for that. I mean, that's what everybody works for. Everybody wants to go to the mountain.
I grew up following my dad around. He ran horses. We're mostly in Blue Ribbon, Stroud, Ada, in that area. And so that's kind of where I first started. I mean, I was just a little kid, 4 or 5 years old, and following him around track to track. And he taught me what I knew. He taught me how to get a horse ready to run. He taught me how to make a sore horse sound. Back in the day when I was running horses on my own, I started when I was in my early 20s, and the All-American Futurity I felt like was just out of reach. There was no way that I would ever have horses that caliber to take out there and run. I watched Jack Brooks, and he was winning all these All-Americans, and I said, I just don't think that I'll ever have those kind of horses. And so I went along there for several years, training a bunch of just what I'd say $2,500 claimers, and doing the best that I could with them, and just not really going anywhere.
Before the trials, GR would do everything. He would gate him, he would gallop him. The only time I got on him during the time was once before the All-American. He claimed wanted to gallop him once. We took him once. I took him out, got a pretty good feeling of him, and went straight. And I had already watched most of his replays, so I kind of knew what he would do, what the horse really would do. He would always kind of lug in a little bit, so I kind of, had an idea how to ride him.
It all revolves around the horse. And just that anticipation to know that we got in the All-American, and then in 2 more weeks, he's going to run another race, was just about more than a person can take, Well, I didn't sleep for 2 weeks.
Horse comes back out of the trial in the next day. Take me through how his health condition was right after the trial.
He walks out of his stall good. He eats good. Everything looks perfect. But the splint was still there, and it was sore. And so I reverted back to old school, and from what my dad taught me. And we took turns sitting on our hands and knees, rubbing this horse's legs. And I mean, we rubbed, we sweated, we iced him twice a day. They were thinking I wasn't giving him enough time to be by himself, but I knew I had to stay after the leg. And we just kept on and on and on. And then after about 6 or 7 days, I hadn't took him back to the track yet. And there's already rumors and talk that the horse is crippled and all that, which he's not really crippled. He just had a little bit of a sore splint, and I had to try to get all the soreness I could rubbed out of it. And so after about 7 days, we took him to the track, and I took him to the turn and brought him back, and that's as far as he went. And I think I let Ivan take him. GR had already committed to First Valiant sign, and so I went ahead and let Ivan get on him, and just kind of let him get the feel of him. And then I brought him back, and then we sat back down there. We took turns on this horse rubbing him. I mean, there was 3 of us, and we would take our turns. If one person wasn't rubbing his body, somebody was rubbing his legs, and we lived. And I lived with him. I mean, I didn't leave his side. I'd stay the night out there with him, and just to make sure that everything was okay for him, and nothing bad was going to happen. And we took a few turns doing that. I couldn't stay the whole 2 weeks, but I stayed my part of it. So.
I'm down in the grandstands, and the horses come up for the fraternity, and Jess is running late. You know, everything's already in the paddock, and Jess ain't up there yet. So I'm calling Clint. I said, hey, so where you guys at? And we're on our way. He says, so I said, but take your time. Still got plenty of time. There's still 30 minutes. They're not gonna run the race without you.
We were out at the paddock, and we were waiting, and there were horses there that were getting ready to go on the track, and Jess Good Candy was not there, and there was another horse that wasn't there. I don't remember which one, but pretty soon the other horse that was late came in, and Jess Good Candy was still not there. And I had a person to walk over to me and say, Jess Good Candy got loose in the barn, and they have scratched him. And I said, what? And the person who was next to us, the man, after this person left and told me that they'd scratched him, he turned around to me and said, now he was a competitor, turned around to me and said, they won't scratch that horse. They won't. So I took heart a little bit of that, but Jess was still not there.
I can tell you we were a little late to the paddock. We're sitting outside. We're up there in barn 1. The speakers aren't very good. We're sitting there waiting. We're on the wash rack. We're waiting for the next call. Never heard it. And the horse is ready to go. So I told him, I said, we got to go. I said, it's time to go right now. So down the hill we went, and we get down there, and there's an investigator sitting down there saying, hey, you've got just so many minutes to be there. Horses are going to be on the track in 17 minutes. Well, we were at the test barn when they come and told us that. And so we kind of picked up the pace a little bit. We wanted to be last. We didn't want to be that far last and be getting there because, he gets a little on the edge, a little nervous. So I come into the paddock. I beat the horse to the paddock. Rosella was there, and she's nervous. And I walked up there to her. I gave her a hug, and she said, they said he got loose back there. I said, no, he didn't get loose. I said, everything's fine. I told her, I said, this is strategy. I said, we're here to win a race. And she just kind of calmed down and relaxed, and I said, so let's go win us an All-American.
Walking all the jocks, just seeing all the people there, that's what really, you can see how big of a race, what is the biggest race. And then jumping on the horse and legging me up after that, the nerves just went down. It was just business time. I warmed up the horse. I felt the horse out first. That's how usually I do it. Got a nervous horse, you just try to keep him quiet. And he warmed up good. He was a little nervous, so we didn't do much. And the more nervous anybody would get, the horse would fit. So I just tried to keep my calm down, and the horse knew what he was going to do.
Post parade to me was pretty intense. I was trying to stay as focused as I could, and I wasn't looking up much. I was looking down, just kind of watching him out of the corner of my eye. We kept a chain over his nose to pony him because he gets to want to play a little bit too much, and he's really focused for all the crowd, all the noise, and the horse has got his head bowed down, and he's stepping out and he's striding. I've seen pictures of it, and that's how it was. And we warmed up perfect. I didn't give him a lot of warm up because he was already on tilt, ready to go. So I just gave him just enough warm up and took him into the gates fresh and ready.
Clint has me off to the gate crew, and he walked in there. We were second to last to load, and he did good. He did everything good.
Out to the outside post. All set. Running the All-American Futurity, a good enough break from all hate for the show speed. Let's see if I'm that guy. One fabulous eagle. Third the path to the far side, back to the inside, just good candy. And here comes First Stallion side. First Stallion side, now we're going just good candy, far side. One fabulous eagle. One fabulous eagle, just good candy. Just good candy, one fabulous eagle.
Be sure to check out all the episodes of Jess Good Candy, The Making of a Sire, on StallionEsearch.com.